When we talk about quitting alcohol, I think as a society, we do a huge disservice to the realities that people need to face. I have read and listened on social media as people say, yeah, you can quit, just stop. Avoid going to places with alcohol, get new friends, and pray. Now, I'm not knocking on divine intervention, okay? I think it's a huge part of the process, and it's been a huge part of my process. But I think we set a dangerously low bar when we make people think that quitting alcohol or being free of addiction is any kind is this easy. If it was, addiction would not be the global pandemic it is today and seems to be getting worse day by day. Hello and welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Wandering Wanderer. And I hope we're becoming one of your favorite channels. We are at 69 subscribers. Woohoo! If it's your first time joining us, this channel explores alcoholism and sobriety as well as sharing tidbits on travel. I'm your host, Wendy, and we've spent the last 6 weeks exploring the what, the where, the types, and the effects of alcoholism. Today, I want us to start talking about sobriety and the journey that is sobriety. So, I shared with you a couple of weeks ago my story, my personal story. So, if you missed that, go back a couple of episodes and watch it. It'll help give a little bit of context to this story. I know it sounded like I quit cold turkey, which means I woke up one day and stopped drinking alcohol. I need to categorically state that that is not the fact. This is very important because quitting cold turkey is not a recipe for success. And while it might seem like it's pretty logical and pretty straightforward, it is simply not a sustainable plan long term. Additionally, quitting cold turkey for most people can be dangerous and counterproductive. I want us to talk a little bit more about this. Let's explore this and in the next episodes, why and what you can do to set yourself up for a successful and healthy recovery. First of all, let's talk about the risks of quitting cold turkey. Quitting alcohol abruptly can lead to severe withdrawal symptoms. My first 3 months of sobriety was some of the hardest I had to go through. I already have anxiety just naturally, but imagine it amplified about 1,000 times over. Insomnia became my constant companion, and when I did sleep, the night terrors woke me up several times in the night, covered in sweat and shaking violently. The voices in my head, I think we all have those, right? They got louder, and I doubted everything I did, even more than I did before. The daily headaches didn't help matters, and there were nights when I wanted alcohol so badly I could taste it. I did, and I still sometimes dream of myself drinking, and I wake up wondering if I've broken my sobriety. That's how deep addiction can hold you to. I am almost 5 years into my sobriety, and there's days I dream of alcohol, and I wake up thinking, "Did I do something? Did I go somewhere? Did I drink?" Symptoms vary from person to person, from mild anxiety, shakiness, to severe complications like seizures and hallucinations, which can be life threatening. This is just like the top layer of why you should not quit cold turkey. Because of alcohol's effect on the central nervous system, quitting alcohol suddenly can cause your body to go into shock because it's so used to functioning with alcohol. While not everybody may need it, it is important to get professional support where it is available to reduce the risks and be able to manage the withdrawal symptoms safely. These professional interventions may include medication, having proper hydration, nutrition to support your body through the detox process. This is part of the reason why I insist on being careful about the advice we give to people seeking help with addiction or wanting to explore the journey of sobriety. It is simply not as simple or as easy as we want people to think. One of the many tools that a lot of sobriety programs use is the Serenity Prayer. And I'm sure most of you know it. I use it not just for sobriety, but for a lot of other things. And it says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I think one of the reasons this is such an excellent tool is because it emphasizes acceptance, courage, and wisdom. Three qualities are vital for a successful recovery journey. Accepting that you cannot change the past, and that recovery is a process and not an event, is extremely important. It's not just about stopping drinking or stopping alcohol consumption, but understanding and addressing your reasons for wanting to stop. This is why the work needs to be done before you quit, right? And it is so important for you to start doing this work ahead of time because it sets you up for success. The first part of this work that you need to do is finding out your why. Why are you stopping alcohol? Why are you quitting? Why is this so important to you at this point in your life? That why is what I refer to as an anchor. It's what is going to ground you. And I want to talk about this one so much because I believe it is the foundation. And for this reason, all the next week's episode, that's what we're going to focus on. I don't want it to be a subtopic. I want it to be discussed all on its own. So join me next week for that. The second part of this journey is the second part of the work that you're going to do on this journey is therapy. Now, I know not all of us can afford therapy. I understand that. But there are a lot of resources around you, whether it's Alcoholics Anonymous somewhere around you, or it's a church around you that's giving you support, or any religious institution, or just the place nearest you that provides support for this kind of, for this journey. And they will give you the support. And a lot of these places, like Alcoholics Anonymous, is free. A lot of churches and religious places of worship provide support for addiction, and most of the times that is free as well. But if you can't afford it, therapy can help identify your particular triggers and guide you in developing coping mechanisms that work for you. It's about building a toolkit to manage your cravings and stresses without turning to alcohol. Why is this important? Why is it important for you to identify your triggers? Because when you quit, temptations will come. And when they come, sometimes they come hard because life happens. And you find yourself really wanting to use that coping mechanism that has worked for you for so long, and that is alcohol, so that you can forget about it for a little while. But the thing is, it doesn't really go away. And so when you quit alcohol, because your body is so used to it, once a trigger comes, the most likely thing is your body and your brain is all going to be like, shortcut, we know what we need. And it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of focus. It takes knowing what it is, identifying it for what it is, and knowing how to cope when those moments arise. The third part of the work that you got to do is, now that you've identified your triggers, hopefully through therapy, understand them. The situations, the thoughts, the emotions, sometimes the people that prompt you to drink. I, for one, know one of my biggest triggers is the voices in my head. Learning that has gone a long way into helping me stay sober for almost 5 years in my journey so far. And when I say the voices in my head, it kind of sounds like I am a little nuts, and maybe I am, who knows? But saying that, I'm talking about those voices in your head that remind you every day, for some of us, that you're not good enough, that you're not worthy enough, that you're not beautiful enough, that you're not strong enough, that everybody else has it figured out but you. I hate to be the one to bust your bubble, but none of us have it figured out. Even the ones who look like they do, I promise you, they do not. But those are the voices I'm talking about. I'm not hearing voices in the classic mental illness kind of way, but I mean the voices that remind us or talk to us or tell us or repeat what we've heard spoken of our lives over and over again. And when those voices arise, you kind of just want to run away because you've gotten to a point where you almost believe them. where you almost believe that you're not good enough, when you believe you're not beautiful enough, where you believe you're not worthy of respect and love. And alcohol just becomes that refuge, that place you go where you can feel, even if it's just for a little while, that you are worthy, that you are beautiful. But here's the thing, you already are without the alcohol. The fourth part of this work is attending support groups, whether in person or online. These groups can connect one with others who are going through similar situations, similar experiences, and can provide encouragement, accountability, and a sense of community. Sharing your journey with others can reduce the feeling of isolation and can help you stay committed to your recovery. I have friends who do this for me constantly, which makes me incredibly blessed. But when I began this journey, I didn't want to share it with anyone. I was so afraid of failing. I was so afraid of looking weak. I was afraid I was going to fall on my face. And I didn't want anybody to see me fall. I didn't want to start something and not succeed at it and be like, oh, yeah, I started this and I failed. And so I didn't tell people. When my therapist recommended that I go to AA somewhere around me, I said no. Because again, I didn't want to sit in a room and tell people that, yes, this is what I'm going through and this is what I'm feeling. In hindsight, that's the one thing I would do differently about this journey if I ever had to go back. Hopefully, if I ever had to go back, I wouldn't have to ever have to get on this journey because I would know better. But if I was, that's the one thing I would change. I would lean on the support systems that are around me, that are available, because me not doing that, while it might have made me stronger, it made a difficult process that much more difficult. I let pride, fear, and shame make a really hard journey that much harder. I was so afraid of being judged. I was so afraid of being shamed. Do not let these things get in the way of taking your first steps to sobriety. It is so important to lean on other people because you can't do this journey alone. Remember, recovery is a journey, it's a process, it takes time. It's about making small, sustainable changes and building a support system that is going to help you thrive. If you or somebody you know is struggling, please reach out locally for help. There's so many resources available to support you wherever you are in the world. And I know all things being equal, it's not the same everywhere in the world, but there are resources, meager as they may be, there are resources where you are. Look around. If you're the one who's reflecting right now, look around. If you have a loved one and you want to support them, look around and look at what support and resources are around that you can recommend to your loved one to participate in. And with that, we are going to wrap up our episode today. I want to thank you for your time and I hope you have learned something new today. If you enjoyed this episode and you would like to continue wondering with me, please consider liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell to stay updated on future episodes. It would mean the world to me. Also, if you have any thoughts, questions, musings, curiosities around alcoholism and sobriety, or have a story to share, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Next week, I want us to talk about the ever important question of why. Why your why is so important in the sobriety journey. So join me next Saturday as we explore this particular topic. In the meantime, have a wonderful week. Stay strong. And remember, one step at a time, we'll get there together. Bye.